Okay, a couple more things regarding specialized equipment for the jungle. I've got my fire starting equipment. I bring a whole bunch of these cotton balls and Vaseline and my spark rods. Those are that's my #1 favorite fire starting device the world over. Arctic, desert, jungles. My spark rod, cotton balls, and Vaseline. I've also got my Strike Anywhere matches, my storm-proof matches from REI, and a lighter or two with a couple sections of rubber inner tube. Rubber inner tube, you can get them at bike shops. They're really good for starting fire in wet weather. Fire starting in the tropics is a killer, man. Even in the dry season, everything's damp. It's so humid. So don't think that the skills you had back home, lighting a fire in your neck of the woods or out west or wherever you live, can be transplanted necessarily with ease to the tropics. The same tools are going to work, the same fire lays, but you might need a lot more of this stuff here, your tinder, to get it going. So get lots of those cotton balls and Vaseline, lots of that sections of inner tube. Bring some stuff with you because it's hard getting a fire going in the tropics. Got my sunscreen. The sun can be intense here in the tropics as well, beating down on you. You're at sea level in a lot of places, but some areas like Costa Rica here, we have high mountains as well. Sun can be intense at elevation. So bring some sunscreen with you, get your hat on you, stay coated. I've got my machete here, and this is a Imacasa made in El Salvador. Another one I'm thinking of, the Tramontinas, made in Brazil. And they have these nice sheaths with them. Get a good quality sheath. I usually get mine when I go down to the country I'm going to. Sometimes I'll bring them with me, sometimes I won't. I like bringing back machetes with nice sheaths. You can get these. This whole outfit here was $12 for this beautiful leather sheath. But you know, talk to the folks ahead of time where you're going. See if how difficult it is to get one. It's probably not going to be difficult at all. Most areas in the tropics, everybody's going to have one of these in their vehicle or on their horse or in their backyard. So I like the shorter ones like this. This is a 14-incher for when we're in camp. If I was going on a trek, multi-day trip, where we're trekking through the jungle, making camp each night, I like the longer ones because at the end of the day, if you think about it, a 24-inch machete is going to save you a lot more calories in terms of whacking and hacking than having a shorter machete of 12 or 14 inches for beating down the brush. So the longer machetes I like when we're trekking and on the move. If I'm just in camp and working on skills and showing people stuff, demonstrating this and that, I like these 14-inchers. I've also got my Mora knife with me. I've got my folder knife here. I've got my little multi-tool with the nice saw blade on it. So bring lots of blades with you, but you got to have a machete. It's your #1 tool. Get some gloves that you can wear. I like going to Home Depot, getting those lightweight, they're kind of nylon gloves that can breathe a little bit, because you're going to be grabbing a lot of foliage and working with your hands constantly. You don't want those tore up. Again, cuts can go septic pretty quickly. I've got my insect repellent. I got a couple different bottles of insect repellent here. We got one back at base camp. And what I like using is 30 to 40% DEET. This stuff out there, this jungle juice, that's 100% DEET. That stuff it's going to make you sick after wearing that, putting it on your skin for a couple of days. I don't recommend that. 30 to 40% DEET. Put that on you, and then reapply it throughout the day as you're sweating and bleeding that stuff off, draining that stuff off. And then before you leave home, this is what I did before I left home to come here. I sprayed my clothes, my boots, my hat, my gloves with permethrin. Permethrin you can get from a lot of hardware stores in some areas. They sell it by the raid and that kind of thing. Gear shops will carry it. REIs carry it. And it's designed as a topical spray, an insecticide that goes over your clothing. I sprayed my head net with it. I spray my hammock, my mosquito netting over my hammock. Anything that's going to be close to me and protecting me, I spray the outside of it. This shirt was sprayed. It's already been soaked by the rain and through sweat and activity and all that kind of thing. But that permethrin will last, they say, for 5 to 6 washings. After that, it starts to wear off. But that acts like an incredible insecticide, and mosquitoes and flies land on you and they're a goner. So spray your clothes if you're going to the tropics. Spray your hat, your head net, your boots with the permethrin to keep the nasties off you. And then you've got your insect repellent, your muskol, your cutter repellent, sportsman's repellent with 30 to 40% DEET in it that you're applying on your skin if necessary. A couple other things regarding food procurement, because I'm down here teaching, mostly trapping and food procurement, primitive fishing, that kind of thing. I want to mention some gear that you might want to consider carrying. I just got this Best Glide mini survival kit. It's emergency survival kit. Best Glide company out of Texas. It's bestglide.com. So they've got a whole mess of kits. This is the only one I've tried and that I can comment on. It's their basic survival kit, fishing kit. And for $10, it's not a bad investment. Is this all I carry? No. I've got a whole bunch of treble hooks and I usually bring along a gill net and a little cast net and that kind of thing for practicing out here. But if you're not gonna carry a fishing pole, at least carry a little mini fishing kit. And as far as the commercial ones go, I like the Best Glide kits, 10 or 20 bucks, and you can have some life insurance here for feeding yourself in the backcountry. And then my friend Madison Parker, who I mentioned earlier, he lives in Florida. He's done a lot of living and work in the tropical regions in the world. And he once told me, he said, the way to feed yourself in the jungle is to bring a little aquarium dip net. And you go down to the creek or the little pond where you're camping at or whatever, and you go down there, and rather than spending hours trying to go after that big fish in the water, trying to spear him, go up to the edge and scoop up all those little minnows. And those little minnows, you get 100 of those little minnows, the body mass of one of those is going to add up probably to the body mass of one of those bigger fish you're going to spend all day trying to get. And he said he just goes right up, scoops up the minnows, adds that to his pot, and cooks those up. And when I heard that, I thought, man, that's low tech. I like low tech. Low tech works. And low tech is what you find showing up with native peoples all over the world. The fancier it is as far as food procurement, the more likely you are to forget it under stress, and the more working parts a trap has, the more difficult it's going to be to spring. In my experience, I like simple things. Simple deadfalls like the Paiute and the widget, figure 4, and simple things like these right here. I'd also recommend, if you're in a situation where you can't do it, bring a cast net. That's the absolute best way to feed yourself in the tropical regions if it's not an issue in terms of pack weight and that kind of thing. But you know, this is a land of plenty. Lots of resources in terms of critters, both on the land and in the water. So food procurement is not as difficult in my experience here as it is in the desert regions. So those are just some of the basics. Again, read some of those books that are out there. Jeff Randall wrote a great book, Adventure Travel in the Third World, and check out some of the other resources out there. Another book on jungle travel and survival by a tropical medicine doctor. Spent most of his career down here. Last name's, I think it's Walker. But check out stuff ahead of time. Go through your list. You're going to need some specialized gear. You're going to need those shots I mentioned in the first video, your immunizations. And then see what specialized gear you need for that region, whether you need to bring your malaria pills or that kind of thing. The jungle is an incredible place. It's a lush place, a land of plenty. But you got to have the right gear with you and some things to deal with the nasties, the critters out here. And here's my pack, by the way. I just got this Snug pack recently. I've used the Camelback for years and years, and came across these Snug packs and haven't tested it out enough to give you a word back on it. But I like it so far. Got nice thick pads, pretty spacious for what I'm doing. But carry a good quality pack. You're going to be trekking through some thick brush. You're going to have a lot of briars and thorns tugging at your pack, and things out here can shred you pretty quickly. So get a good quality pack. And see what gear works for you. Try things out ahead of time, and you know, if you're carrying all this stuff with you and it's life insurance, make sure you know how it works. Thanks for watching, guys.